2010, the Bronx was alive with noise. Car horns, laughter, the rhythm of the city that never truly sleeps. Among the thousands of young faces walking those streets was one that stood out. A quiet 16-year-old boy named Kalief Browder. Kalief wasn't a troublemaker. He was just another teenager trying to find his way in a world that didn't make it easy for kids like him. He loved computers, had dreams of finishing school, and helping his mother around the house. But all of that changed. In an instant, it was May 15th, 2010. Kalief and a friend were walking home from a party when two police officers stopped them. One of the officers told Kalief there had been a report a man claimed his backpack had been stolen. The supposed victim pointed at Kalief and said, "That's him." There was no proof, no witnesses, no physical evidence. Still, that one accusation was enough. Kalief tried to explain. He didn't steal anything. He didn't even own a backpack that day. But his words didn't matter, because in that moment, the system didn't see a child. It saw a suspect. He was handcuffed on the spot. The police told him he'd be free soon, that if it was all a misunderstanding, it would get sorted out. But nothing could have been further from the truth. Kalief's bail was set at $3,000, a small fortune for his mother, Browder, who was already struggling to support 7 children on her own. She begged, borrowed, and searched for help, but the system was merciless. Because the family couldn't pay, Kalief was sent to Rikers Island, New York's most notorious jail, known for its overcrowding, corruption, and violence. It was supposed to be temporary, just a few days until his court date, but that few days turned into 3 years of pure hell. Rikers Island is not a place for anyone, let alone a teenager. Kalief was only 16, a child in an adult's world of chaos. Inside those walls, he quickly learned the unspoken rules of survival. Trust no one. Don't talk back. Don't cry. He was beaten by inmates and guards alike. He saw stabbings. He saw men broken. He saw death. Kalief spent much of his time in solitary confinement, a 6-by-8-foot cell, alone for 23 hours a day. No phone calls, no human contact, no light, just a boy and the sound of his own breathing. He later said in an interview, "I feel like I'm never going to get out, like the system is built to keep me here." Kalief's case kept getting delayed. 31 times he was brought before a judge, and 31 times he was sent back to Rikers. The prosecutor kept asking for more time, and the court kept granting it. The alleged victim even left the country, but still, no one dismissed the case. The system didn't see a mistake. It saw paperwork. It saw procedure. It saw another black kid stuck in the gears of bureaucracy. In 2013, after 3 years with no trial, the charges were suddenly dropped. Kalief walked out of Rikers a free man, but he wasn't the same boy who went in. The world felt strange, too loud, too bright. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't concentrate. He couldn't escape the memories of that tiny cell. He tried to rebuild his life. He went back to school, started community college, even began speaking publicly about his experience to fight for justice. But the shadows of Rikers followed him everywhere. The trauma was unbearable. Kalief struggled with depression and paranoia. He told friends he felt watched, like the system was still trying to cage him, even on the outside. His mother did everything she could to help him heal. She called doctors, therapists, pastors. But how do you cure what a system destroys? In June 2015, at just 22 years old, Kalief Browder took his own life in his family's home. His mother found him, and with him, she found the unbearable truth that the justice system had not just stolen 3 years from her son, it had stolen his will to live. Kalief's death sparked national outrage. It forced America to face an ugly truth, that justice in the United States often depends not on guilt or innocence, but on money, race, and power. He became a symbol of everything broken in the system, how poverty determines your freedom, how young black men are unfairly targeted, how bail laws punish the poor before proving guilt. His story inspired documentaries, protests, and eventually, bail reform legislation in New York State. Even President Obama spoke about Kalief. calling solitary confinement an outrage, especially for Kalief. Browder's name still echoes through classrooms, courtrooms, and prisons across America. It's a reminder that justice should never depend on the size of your wallet. It's a warning to a country that too often confuses punishment with fairness. He was only 16. He never got his trial. He never got justice. But through his story, the world began to wake up. Kalief Browder didn't die in vain. His story changed laws, opened eyes, and exposed truths that many tried to ignore. But perhaps the most haunting part of all is that there are still many more like him, waiting in cells, unseen, unheard, and forgotten. This is True Crime Mind, where we don't just tell stories of crime, we tell the stories of a system that cries out for justice.